Hello, beautiful people. Oh no. Looks like that link got cut off. Here we go. Let's try it again. There it is. The link is up. I'm waiting for one of you guys to get brave enough to call in. Call in and join the show. I think it'd be fun. But I will post it every single show until you guys decide that you want to call in. Seriously, if you have a question you want to ask me, I'm an open book. Just call. If you want to vent about something, if you have a topic that you want to talk about, let's go. Obviously, everybody that watches the show is super respectful, so I'm not worried about you guys calling and being stupid. So the link is there. Click on it. Come chat with me. Thank you guys for joining me, and don't forget to share the show. I appreciate every single one of you for doing that and for tuning in every week. How are you guys doing? I feel like I talk too much. I know that's the point, but how are you guys doing? You guys hanging in there? It's getting warm outside, at least, here in Ohio. I don't know where you guys are at, but it's a game changer. But it's going to be like 80 this week, so I'll probably still bitch about being hot because, that's how it goes. It's either way too cold or way too hot here in Ohio. And I feel like there's not like springtime anymore or fall. I feel like we go, straight from one extreme to the other. Maybe I was just not paying attention when I was a child, but I feel like there was more of like a gradual season change, I feel like springtime goes from snow to 80 degrees and, the opposite in the fall. It goes from, you're sweating to, hey, get out your snow shovel because it's going to snow this week. So I don't know, but it is always nice. It's like, I don't know. It's like taking an antidepressant, walking outside and having the sunshine. It's so nice. What's up, Eddie Pence? Eddie, I meant to text you. How's your mom doing? Did the aloe help? You don't have to answer on here, but let me know. Message me because I was thinking about you guys today. But I was driving, so I didn't want to text because you don't text and drive, people. That's dangerous. So thanks for messaging because it reminded me to ask you. I will be at the seminary on Saturday. Self-guided flashlight tours. I also have an open house on Saturday. I'm excited about that. I haven't done one of those in like a year. It'll be good. Yeah, I don't. Oh, good. Eddie said she's doing 100 times better. Thank you for the aloe. Eddie's. I'm not going to. I feel like this is just a weird conversation if people don't know what's going on. But Eddie's mom had a burn that. And I said, is she putting aloe on it? And he's like, yeah, she's got some aloe. And I said, no, not like the crap that you buy, like the lotion. Like, does she have like an aloe leaf where you just cut it and use the gel from the inside of it? And he's like, no, she doesn't have that. I'm like, okay, I got you. I happened to be seeing Eddie. So I went to Walmart and got them. They're like 2 or 3 feet long and it's like $2. If you guys ever have like burns or anything, it's fantastic for that. Easton got my youngest when he was little, was playing with sparklers. And then when it was done, he grabbed onto it and he got a burn straight across his hand. And I had an aloe plant growing at my house. And so I just cut the leaf open and I put the gel straight on his hand. And then I like wrapped it overnight while he was sleeping. I just left it there, the whole leaf, just cut it in half long ways so that the gel was touching his hand. And by morning, that thing looked 100 times better. Seriously, it's great stuff. So just to give you a little backstory as to why I'm asking Eddie about his mom and her aloe situation. But it's definitely a game changer if you ever get any sort of thing like that. But anyways, I'm happy to hear that, Eddie. I know she's been through a lot lately, so at least one part is a little bit better. Sometimes that's what you got to do, is just focus on the parts that are getting better and not, the parts that are not changing as quickly as you'd like them to. Um, and I wanted to talk too about one of the reasons why I try to tell people, and I listen, I'm fully aware that people get annoyed when I'm like, oh, just try to think positive. I know it's super annoying, and I know that it's not easy to do, and I know that it's, sometimes it seems like you can't, but I definitely want to encourage you to look into what stress does to your body. There are studies out there, you would be so amazed with how our bodies react to stress. Um, obviously, if you're stressed, like you have, like your heart will beat fast, you get panic attacks, like whatever. I'm not talking about those things. I'm not talking about that. But something like if you're sick, your body will take longer to heal because you're stressed, because your body's like focusing on the stress instead of focusing on healing. I read a story, I mean a news whatever, a study about stress can literally stop you from getting pregnant. If you're trying to have a baby and you're stressing about it, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I did the same thing. When Richie and I got married, and I had Ryan, so like, zero effort, right? So, I was like stressing about the fact that like I wasn't pregnant like on day one after getting married. And so I was stressing about it, and I was talking to my doctor about it. And, I'm taking my temperature every day, and I'm like, you know, I was I was like a week away from getting put onto some sort of pill that would like regulate something. I don't even know. Something that's used for like infertility. And so I was obviously doing a lot of research, because that's what I do when I hyper focus on something. And I found this article, and it was talking about the effects of stress on infertility. And if you are in if you are super stressed out, then your body will actually like not prevent you, but it will make it more difficult for you to get pregnant, just because, caveman times, if you're living in a stressful situation and that most likely meant that you were in danger, and that your body would not want you to get pregnant, because then you could be putting the baby in danger, you could be putting yourself in danger, whatever. So, we have a lot of caveman tendencies still. Our body doesn't understand that we live in the lap of luxury now. But um so this article was saying that like your body will prevent you from getting pregnant if you're stressed out. And you'll hear a lot of people telling people, like, if they're stressing about getting pregnant, they'll tell them, just stop worrying about it. And I know that sounds stupid. Like, how do you stop worrying about something that you've wanted your whole life, or that you've been trying for so long, or whatever? But I have heard so many stories about people, like, once we decided to stop trying, that maybe it wasn't the time, maybe we wait till later, whatever, then that's when they get pregnant. And that's what happened to us. I actually, I decided, I'm not ready to get pregnant. What I want to do is work on myself first, and I want to get like my body ready and, all this other stuff. I was like, maybe we just take a break for a little bit. And wouldn't you know, once I was not stressed anymore, I ended up getting pregnant. So it was ironic, because I had read the article. I knew what stress did, according to that study, obviously. But it's crazy what stress does to your body. And by trying to remain positive, it does have so many more effects than just, your day-to-day mood. It helps, like, right now, oh my gosh, I am so burnt out from work. One of my partners at work has been on a cruise for the last, like, 10 days or something, and, he has no cell service, so whenever somebody calls his cell phone, it says, "Hey, I'm totally unavailable. You can't even call me, text me, email me, nothing. So please get a hold of Denise Smith." And so, it's been crazy busy. And I'm so burnt out. And luckily that's over. That's over. He's back tonight. So I'm done. I'm not answering my phone anymore. I'm just gonna tell his people, look, he's home. Don't talk to me anymore. But it's not just, I'm burned out. I can't think straight. I can't talk straight. I'm so tired. It's not just about your attitude. Sometimes it's like your physical health gets affected when you're super stressed like that. Hey, Sarah. Good evening, everybody. So yeah, I want you guys to keep that in mind. I know it's super hard, and I know that people get annoyed with me because I'm always like, just think positive. Oh, it could be worse. Everything happens for a reason. When when I'm stressed out or when I'm going through something that's it's shattering. And then somebody says, everything happens for a reason. Like, I just want to punch them. I do. I get so stressed out about it. And and then I go around saying it to people all the time. So I do know that it's infuriating when somebody says that to you. What else do you guys have? Listen, if anybody in my life ever dies, please do not ever say to me, "I'm so sorry for your loss." I don't know why, but that is rage inducing to me. Um, do you guys have like sayings that people say all the time that drive you insane? Because that is definitely one of them. I don't think that you should apologize for a loss. I don't know. I get that it's like the normal thing to say. But anytime that I've lost somebody in my life, I take zero comfort in that saying. Um, I just I don't know. I don't think that you should apologize for it because you didn't do it. Um, I understand saying like, I don't know, I'm here if you need anything, whatever. Um, I have very dear friends of mine that I met when I was 4 years old. 4 years old. And I still am friends with them to this day. And it was twin sisters, and one of them passed away years ago, way too young. Um, and I went to the funeral, and I have a hard time at funerals anyways. So I was kind of standing in the back and I'm just watching people go through the line. And I'm watching everyone walk up to my beautiful friend and just say, "So sorry for your loss." And I just watched her there with like zero emotion on her face. Like she was so sick of it. It's so hard to hear the same thing over and over again. And I walked up to her and I hugged her and I just said, "What the?" I said, "This is so messed up. I don't even understand it." And she just cried so hard. And she just held me and she said, "Thank you." She said, "Nobody has said that today. Nobody has said that. Everybody's saying, sorry for your loss." Like it's a normal thing. She didn't lose her car keys. She lost her twin sister at such a young age. And I think people, everybody wants to say like the thing that's, I don't know, like politically correct or whatever, but that's not always what people want. Sometimes they just want somebody to say what they're thinking, and people are like too afraid to walk up to somebody and be like, "Oh my God, this is dumb. This makes no sense. This is stupid. This is obviously." I'm trying not to say swear words, and I don't know how to do that. Um, but anytime that I've been just straight up honest with people, and just raw emotions. Because listen, they're feeling every raw emotion that you could think of. And to have people walk up like robots and go, so sorry for your loss, and shake their hand, it's just not what they need at that moment. And I feel like funerals, anytime I've been involved in a funeral, like been, like the family, the line, whatever, anytime I've been one of those people, there's such like a whirlwind. So many people go through and it's all a blur and you don't even remember people showing up because it's the same shit every single person that comes up. So sorry for your loss. Oh, they did a great job. She looks beautiful. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. She doesn't. She would look super fantastic if she was breathing. Can we also stop saying that? There's not a single person that will ever look beautiful in a casket. I'm sorry. Fight me. I don't think that that's appropriate to say at a funeral. I'm sorry. You could say like the pictures are beautiful, the videos are beautiful, like the things of the person when they were alive are beautiful. The flowers are beautiful. That person in the casket is not beautiful. Sarah said, my favorite is they're in a better place. I find that so awful to say to a person who is hurting. Thank you. I have such a contradictory feeling about death and funerals in general. It is one thing, if somebody is, suffering from cancer or something that's like painful or whatever. It's one thing to say like they're not suffering anymore, but like they're in a better place. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what you believe. Even if you do believe that they're in heaven, if you believe that they're roaming the earth visiting loved ones, it doesn't matter what you believe. I don't think that it's appropriate to say they're in a better place, especially to the person who is really, really wishing that they were still in this place. I have a hard time because my mom always like, I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I'm just going to preface this and say, I don't know if this is what she instilled on me or just what I picked up off of, maybe I was overanalyzing things, whatever. But a lot of times, especially if it was like an older person, it was almost as if like grieving was selfish. Does that make sense? Probably not. To my brain, it does. Because if somebody is no longer in pain, if we want them to still be here, then that is selfish on our part, because then that means we want them to still be in pain. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's like kind of what I've felt all my life. And again, obviously, I overthink everything. Obviously, I have anxiety. So it's very possible that my mom said one thing that was like not even remotely close to that. And that's what my brain picked up. But, that's what I've always thought of grieving, that you're not, if somebody is in a better place, if somebody's not suffering anymore, that you really shouldn't be upset about it, because being upset about it is selfish, because that's you're putting your feelings of wanting that person to be there over the other person's feelings of, physical pain and that sort of thing. Now that I say that out loud, I feel like that sounds terrible. That sounds a little bit terrible. So grieving's like a weird thing to me. I try not to do it. I try not to do it because, my brain's like, hey, that's selfish. That person is no longer in pain. That person is happy now, whatever. But God, does that hit you like a ton of bricks sometimes? When my stepdad died, that was very sudden. He died of a heart attack. And it was kind of like, my mom called me at 5:30 in the morning. They were visiting friends in PA, which is not far, like 2.5 hours. And she called me at 5:30 in the morning, and all she said was, "I need you to pray for Wayne." And by the time she finished that sentence, which is like what, a couple of words, I had already started packing my bag. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew I was leaving. And I don't even know where I was going with this. But yeah, that was very sudden. I drove out to the hospital. He was on life support for a few days, and then he was not on life support anymore, and he was not alive anymore. And that was very sudden, very unexpected, very sad. We had a very good relationship, and he used to always collect these little perfume samples that they would give out at Saks Fifth Avenue. And like, I'm talking years later, probably like 5 or 6 years later. I was at my mom's house cleaning out a closet or looking for something in a bathroom closet, and I found one of those perfume bottles. And that was it. That was it. That was all it took. And I lost it. I couldn't even, I'm like sobbing in the bathroom. People probably think I cut my arm off or something. I like couldn't breathe. I was sobbing so hard. So I think that backfires because I will try so hard to be strong and to not be selfish and not, think of only my thoughts and wanting that person to be there. And so I try to like push that away, but then it totally backfires because then I'll have like one little moment like that, especially if it's a moment where I'm by myself, because I know I've cried in front of like all of you already, but I do try to be strong in front of people. It doesn't always work, and if my husband's watching, he'll say that that's bullshit. But he's different. Um, but I will try, my very best to be really strong. And if I have like little moments like that where I'm by myself, that's it. It's game over. I'm a mess like that. I tend to be. Here's me at funerals. Or pretty much in any situation where I don't know what to do. My answer is always food. Um, I remember when my grandpa died when I was 14. Listen, my grandpa was an amazing human being. Maybe not, maybe not always. He did have a wild side, but people loved him. They loved him. And he died when he was 56. I was 14. And I remember just hanging out at my grandma's house. And, there would be like somebody would show up with like a whole deli tray and like a bunch of loaves of bread. And then like 2 minutes later, somebody would have delivered pizza. And then like an hour later, somebody showed up with like a whole turkey and a roaster, a whole big trays of rigatoni. Like it seemed like every half hour to an hour, there was like a new delivery of food. And I'm not talking about like a small pizza. It was like 3 sheet pizzas, um, it's one of those things where, I was like, Grandma, why do people keep bringing food? And she just explained it, like when you are grieving and when you lost a loved one, you don't think about food like, oh, I got to take something out for dinner and I'm going to try this new recipe. Nobody's thinking about that. Even when they have food in front of them, they're not thinking about food. So it's just, you bring food so that people are eating because you care about that person and you want to make sure that they're still eating despite everything that they're going through. And you don't want them to have to think about anything. So that's me. When my friend's sister died, I went over there with an entire pot of cheesy potato soup because I don't know, that's a comfort food. And I like it because it gives me something mindless to do. And so I give my brain like this teeny tiny little task. Peel and cut up these potatoes. Great. Then I can focus on that and not sit there and cry my face off. Um, Or when my cousin died, I went to Walmart back when they were open 24 hours a day. I went to Walmart at 2:30 in the morning after I had been just a mess. I had been at her house with her siblings and a lot of my family. And I got home at like 2, and then I'm just sitting there and I'm just crying and I'm like, okay, time to do something. Let's make some food. So I went to Walmart 2:30 in the morning and I'm at the deli section. And instead of just like buying a deli tray or buying like a tray of lasagna or buying a tray of mac and cheese, I bought like 15 pounds of lunch meat and cheeses and all this stuff. And I spent 4 or 5 hours just rolling lunch meat to make this beautiful tray that was a lot of work, but it was perfect. It was just what I needed. I just needed that mindless little task so that I could focus on something else besides my feelings for a little bit. Nancy says, when you lose someone, people are uncomfortable and they say what they think will help you cope. I've appreciated their concern. My grief was private. Hugs and blessings were comforting. My grief was private, but hugs and blessings were comforting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think people just say what it's like the standard, like thoughts and prayers. It's just like the standard thing that they think is going to help. But once you're in that situation, you're like, wow, okay, these words actually don't help. But hugs are amazing. Hugs help so much. They help so many things. Sarah said, my fur baby isn't going to be around much longer and I'm trying to be strong, but it's so hard. That was one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. And if my husband is watching, make sure you turn this off right now if any of the kids are around. We actually had to make the decision for my dog. And that was honestly the hardest phone call I've ever had to make. And we had somebody come to our house the very next morning to do it because my dog was kind of an asshole, if I'm being honest. She was amazing and she loved us so much and she protected us with everything that she had. But she was not nice to other people. She was not nice to other animals. But that was okay because she loved us so much. So I did not want her last moments to be like at a vet or something where she would be stressed and where she hated. She didn't like going there. She loved being at home. So we paid an exorbitant amount of money. It was only $350. It was worth every penny. But we paid money and had somebody come to the house and do it. And holy crap, that was terrible, 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 terrible. I could have taken the easy way out. I could have just taken her to the vet. And this was like, 2 years ago. So it was still like you couldn't even go into the vet because of COVID. So I could have just taken her and did a curbside drop off and paid $65 and been done. But I knew that had the roles been reversed, that she would do the same thing for me. So I felt like it was what I had to do. But oh my gosh, does that not make it any easier? I had been putting it off for a long time. My dog was like 16. Oh my gosh. I had been putting it off for so long for selfish reasons because I could not imagine my life without her. I could not. We got her when Ryan was 3 years old. So she had been around forever. So like my younger two they've literally never lived in a world that she didn't exist. So I had put it off for so long. She was getting worse and worse, but, like, we just changed things, like, we started letting her in a different door so she didn't have to do stairs, and, we just she would have accidents on the floor, and I would just clean them up, like, whatever, just get out a carpet cleaner, it's not a big deal. Um, and I knew that she was not doing great, but also I knew that she still loved us and she still wanted to be around us. Um, but the day I decided to call, she was actually chasing the chickens in our backyard, which we had we had chickens for like 7 years, and she never once gave up on trying to chase these chickens. Um, she didn't care. I mean, she would go outside 6 times a day, and she would go straight to the chicken coop every single time just to make sure, "Maybe the door's open this time." Well, that day the door was open, and the chickens were just, free ranging around the yard. And she went out there and she saw one, even though she was, like, starting to go blind. Of course, she saw the chicken, and she booked it and she ran, um, full speed at 16 years old, ran as fast as she could, and her back legs ended up giving out, and she couldn't walk anymore. Like, she couldn't use those legs anymore. But I told you she was a little bit of an asshole. So instead of, like, giving up on chasing the chickens, she was literally pulling herself with her front legs, with her back legs just dangling there. She couldn't do anything with them. And she's still trying to chase the chickens. So we knew, like, we couldn't put it off anymore. So oh my God. I can't believe I made it through all of that without crying. That was the worst. The worst. I mean, I was so thankful, and I tried to thank the doctor, the veterinarian that came to the house. Um, I said, "You have a terrible job. You have a terrible job, but you also have an amazing job. And it's so good that people are able to do this at their home where their pets are comfortable, where they're comfortable." I mean, our appointment was at like 8 in the morning, and the lady just literally blocked off her whole day for us. Um, she was so kind and so patient with us, and she let us have as much time as we needed. She made little paw prints for the kids. She cut little pieces of hair from um from Bella and put it in little bags for the kids, and she was just phenomenal. But gosh, what a terrible job. What a terrible job. It's one of those, it's totally contradictory. It's a beautiful job, but it's also terrible. But that was another thing. That shit will sneak up on me all the time. I mean, I will hear a dog bark on TV, and that's it. It's game over. I'm just going to cry my face off because that one bark reminded me of the times that Bella used to bark all the time. That's it. This vet also, I can't remember when it was, maybe like the 1-year anniversary or something, sent me a card, and in it there was a packet of seeds, which I thought was super cute anyways, but they were forget-me-not seeds. Are you kidding me? Of course I cried for like 6 hours after that one. It was a beautiful gesture, but also, geez, too soon. Um, and for anyone who's like, that's just a dog or that's just a cat, whatever. No, those are our family members. That's our family. That was my daughter. I don't even talk about my pets. I don't have cats because my husband's super allergic. Um, I don't even talk about my dogs like they're dogs. Um, if I'm telling my kids to let the dogs out, I'll be like, "Can you let your brother outside?" I That's my kids. They're my fur kids. I can't just refer to them as a dog. And actually, I worked with a guy, Jeff, who used to he was telling me a story about when he got home from work, and his wife was telling the dog, she said, "Jeff's home." And I said, "Ew, your dog calls you Jeff?" And he's like, "What? What would my dog call me?" I said, "Dad. Why would he not call you dad? You're his dad. You told your dog that your name is Jeff? That's not okay. You say that's daddy and mommy. You don't say Jeff. What? I just thought it was normal to have those are your fur babies. They're called fur babies for a reason because those are your babies. Look at this. Look at this sweet boy. Look. He loves me unconditionally. He follows me everywhere. He's obsessed with me and I love it. They're amazing and we don't deserve dogs. And frankly, I think it's cruel that dogs only live like 5 to 10 years. They should live forever. But yeah, Sarah, oh my God. I'm so sorry. That's a crappy thing. I kept asking my dog to not make me have to pick. You know, I kept saying, can you just decide when? Can you just not make me have to make the call? But I should have known that she wouldn't do that because she was like this one. She wanted to be by us all the time. So even when, gosh, she was seriously 15, 16 years old, her hips are bad, her nails are bad, like she's just a mess. But if I was sitting at the dining room table, she would come and lay on the hard tile just so she could be right next to me instead of, finding a bed or something nice to lay on. They're amazing. And that sucks so bad, Sarah. And I can appreciate that pain. I've been there. It's terrible. And anyone who tells you that it's just a pet, you can just punch him in the face. That's fine. Sarah said, I got my boy when he was 2 months old. He's 20 years old now. Wow. That's crazy. That's a long time. Is it? I mean, 20 years is like a long time, but also like, nah, we need another 40, 60 years added onto that. It's so terrible. It's just terrible that they have such short lifespans. It's not fair. Yeah, that's going to be rough. I'm not even going to lie. I can't even like try to think of anything comforting to say because that's just terrible. And it's hard and it does. Oh my gosh. Seriously, the 2-year anniversary was just like 2 days ago for Bella. And my kids still just cry. Even my 19-year-old, he admits, like, sometimes I just think about her and I just cry. Then it doesn't help that I have like pictures of her all over the house. And sometimes you just cry about it. It doesn't matter that it's been 2 years. That's a hard thing to go through. What else is going on with you guys? Tina, what are you doing? Nancy, I know you just had your first speaking thing. I want to hear all about that. You don't have to do it in the comments, but message me and let me know. I do want to, my phone's been going off, so I just want to make sure that it's not. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that was just work stuff, but I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't you guys trying to give me a topic to talk about secretly, because I'm going to be honest, somebody messaged me. If it was you, I apologize. Someone messaged me, I want to say last Wednesday, and told me that they wanted to talk about something. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a great topic. And I said, I won't say anything. I won't say anything about who asked the question, whatever. And then I forgot what the question was. And then since I had said that it was going to be an anonymous question, my brain's like, that's anonymous. I can't remember who said it. Anne said she's enjoying the nice weather this week and trying to get out of my funk. I don't know. Listen, I don't follow like astrology or anything. Yeah, like sometimes it's whatever. Sometimes it's like dead on and you can't argue with it. But like, and you are not alone. I am not alone. There are so many people that I've been talking to lately who are like, I don't even know what's going on. I just can't get out of this funk. And the nice weather does help a lot. I'm very thankful for that. Um, but you are definitely not alone. I would say it's been probably at least a month that people have been saying that they just don't know what it is. They can't even like pinpoint a thing in their life that is causing them to be that way, but they're just in a funk. They're not themselves. They don't enjoy the things that they used to when it comes to like something, you know, that they would normally be really excited about. They're just like, meh, they just don't care. Um, there's so many people like that. Honestly, I feel like there's more people who feel that way than don't. Um, I feel like there's hardly anybody is like just living their life like normal. I don't know if everybody's just in like survival mode or it is just like a worldwide funk that we're all in and there's some scientific reason for it. I know for me personally, because I do overthink everything and I take everything to heart, um, especially other people's emotions, all of that. I know for me, it's been just the way that the world is. Um, everybody's so full of hate. I don't know if you noticed. Everybody is so full of hate and so quick to personally attack people. And holy shit, does that take a toll on me? Even if people aren't attacking me personally, just watching, oh my gosh, like my faith in humanity just gets destroyed every week. Every week it's worse and worse. And it gets really hard to like be excited about things that I used to be excited about because nothing's really the same because people are not the same. Even the people that I love so much, just everybody is so hateful and it hurts my heart, man. Ian says, unfortunately or fortunately, I know the cause of my funk. The overthinking has been rough. Isn't it so shitty that being in our own heads or being with our own thoughts is like the worst place that you could be? It makes no sense to me. We talked about like cavemen earlier and how we have a lot of the same, we have these whatever it's called, instincts. Um why is it our instinct to attack our own self? Your own thoughts should be like the thing that helps you, the thing that like lifts you up, the thing that causes you to get better. But I don't know about you guys, but if I am at home and I don't have anything to do, or I am driving for a while and I have nothing but time to think, or if I am in the shower or I am doing the dishes, something that's like mindless, that's it. That's when my depression, my anxiety, whatever gets worse because it's just me and my thoughts. And I will turn everything into something way worse than it needs to be because my super awesome brain thinks that that's a good idea. Nancy said it was great. I used to teach and felt that group was receptive. Easter is the 54th anniversary of my son's death. I always try to do something intense so I prevent a pity party. Had one once and said never again. Yeah. Yep. Um, Sometimes I obviously have never lost a child and cannot even fathom that because I feel like I would have a pity party every day for the rest of my life. I think that people who lose a child are the bravest and the strongest people that I've ever met. Even just waking up the next day, putting clothes on, taking a shower, all of those things are amazing. But um, just for my not not as bad situations, I'm not at all comparing myself to you, but I can appreciate your comment about trying to do something intense so you prevent a pity party because that's exactly what it is. Yep. Sometimes you just got to keep your mind busy and you got to keep your body busy and you got to keep moving and you got to do something. And sometimes it's not even, I mean, you don't have to do anything phenomenal. Just put on some clothes, put on some makeup and go grocery shopping. Um, Humans are not made to just sit around, and especially humans who have anxiety or depression. It just compounds things. Um, Sometimes it's as simple as just going to the grocery store for me, or doing something, even just going outside to get the mail or going outside to check on the chickens or just doing something. I would imagine you have to do something pretty intense to prevent a pity party on that sort of anniversary. Um, yeah, it's hard. Nancy, I'm proud of you for getting out of that pity party because that's a tough one. That's a tough one to get out of. And I know your sons, you talk to them all the time, and I love that so much. I hope that when my children are adults that they talk to me all the time and come to drive across states to do weird things with me. Um, I just love it. That's so awesome that they do that for you. Anyways, what else do you guys got? Do you need anything else before I go? Do you want to talk about anything else? You got anything coming up that you might need a little pep talk for? Let me know. Um, Although I've just been talking about depressing things the whole day. But you know what? Depressing stuff happens too. And it's okay to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it because it's not fun. Um, but it is important, especially, if you have people in your life who understand, like Anne can just post that she's in a funk and she's trying to get out of it. And it's so important to have people in your life that know what that means. Um, because if you have people who, you know, sometimes I just don't talk to anybody and I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do the things that used to make me happy. And I just am like, just stuck inside of my own head. And I have people in my life who recognize that that's going on and they'll call me out on it. They'll be like, hey, get out of your funk, come up here and see me, or come and do this, or go do whatever. Um, because they know how I am. And that's so important because nowadays everybody's so self-centered and entitled. And, a lot of times people feel like they are entitled to the best version of you. And I'm sorry, that's bullshit. If you think that you're going to get the best version of me every time, and if I'm anything less than the best version of myself, that makes me a bad friend, then I probably don't want to be friends with you. Um, because I don't think that there's anything wrong with not being the best version of yourself all the time. It's pretty freaking normal if you ask me. And it's so important to have friends in your life who are like, hey, I realize you haven't taken a shower in a week and haven't brushed your hair in 2 weeks, but I still want to hang out with you. How about I come over and we'll do your dishes because I know you haven't done that shit in 2 weeks either. You know, it's just, it's super important to just have somebody. And I always tell people, like, just call me. If you don't even have to say words. Sometimes it just takes somebody to listen. And even if they're not even listening to you saying coherent sentences, even if they're just listening to you swear and cry and get upset, I talk about it all the time, but that 5 minutes, my best friend and I used to set a timer and we'd call each other and we'd say, I need 5 minutes. And the person would say, okay, my timer's going, go ahead. And that was what we would do. You just cry and throw things and swear and say things that you would never normally say. But then that's it. When the 5-minute timer goes off, then you feel better because you just needed somebody to listen and you just needed somebody who understands that, like, if I get upset about something, that doesn't mean I hate my life. It doesn't mean that I'm going to stay in this place forever. I just needed 5 minutes and I just needed somebody to understand that I needed 5 minutes. Um, Sometimes people take things too personally. Like if Anne calls me because she's upset, um, and I, if she calls me because she's upset, there are people who will literally take it personally and be like, "Oh my God, she's mad at me," or she's not being a good friend. Shelly said she prefers disassociation. Super good at that one as well. It's not a great coping mechanism, but I get it because I do it. Ian said, I wish I lived closer to you so we could, like, you know, not hang out because we're in a funk and don't want to do anything with anybody. Yeah, it's not a very good coping mechanism, shell, but it happens to the best of us. And sometimes, dude, my disassociation is so strong. I could literally never go to the places I used to love. I could literally never do the things that I used to love doing, and I'd be totally okay with it. The amount that my brain just says, I'm done, is it's scary. It's scary. Shelly said same. Um, yeah, we've talked about this before. Once my brain's like done, it's done. Like it's really done. And that that's a little bit scary sometimes. How easy it is for me to get to that point. But honestly, a lot of it is I don't want to do drama anymore. I don't want to do, anything that just kills my vibes. Sorry. I don't. Life's way too short to be anything but happy. So I have no problems just giving up on things. And that sounds terrible. And I don't know if I'm finally living life to its fullest and whatever, or if I've just turned into an asshole. But either way, I got good vibes only. It's terrible. It's not funny. It's not funny. But yeah. So unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about, I think I'm going to go because I do have a lot of work to do. And some fun things. I swear I'm doing fun things too, not just work. But it is time for me to put the kids to bed, and I was gone all evening, so I would like to do that. But I will talk to you guys next week. As always, feel free to message me on my personal page or on the show page and get your questions in. If you want to talk about something, if you want to vent about something, your story is your story to tell. It is not mine to tell. I'm not going to go around gossiping about you. I have a lot of secrets about a lot of people that will stay with me forever because it is not my story to tell. So don't worry about that. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. If it's, bad and you need to talk to somebody more than me, talk to somebody more than me. There's no shame in that. Shelly says, come see me and quit hiding in your funk. Shelly is one of the people in my life who recognizes when I am disassociating and when I am in a funk. And she'll say, come and see me. And I'm like, I don't know, we'll see. And she's like, come and see me. I'm like, okay. She knows that I'm just being ridiculous and that I need to get out of my house. But I might take you up on that, Shell. But I will talk to you guys next week. As always, let me know if you need me in the meantime. But thank you so much for coming on, getting your comments in. I really appreciate every single one of you. And I will see you next week.